What else do we have? Direct primary care. Cool. All right. Well, I'm just going to sit here and monitor what's going on. And Leola, when you're ready, just flip it over to me and we'll get things underway.
Okay. Let's see. I see it's 11:58, so we'll get started in just 2 minutes here, and then I will share my screen and get started with some introductions. All right, now if I haven't messed anything up, should see Ken's picture.
I think you're looking good on this end.
All right. Let's see where I'm sitting time-wise. Give it just a couple more seconds and we'll get started. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our first July presentation on Create and Send Your First Email Campaign in 15 minutes or less, featuring today's presenter, Ken Countess. But first, a little bit of information about us at SCORE. We are an independent nonprofit organization that is a part of the Small Business Administration. SCORE provides small businesses with free, confidential business mentoring, both in person and online educational services, such as this webinar. We have nearly 90 volunteers in our SCORE Minnesota division, serving both Manatee and Sarasota counties for over 50 years. And our chapter was recognized as District Chapter of the Year for 2022. What we can help you with, no matter what stage of your business you are in, SCORE is ready to help you. If you just have an idea and you're just getting started, we could help you through that thought process. If you're ready to open up your business, we have somebody that can help with that. If you're already in business and you need a little fine tuning, you could definitely give us a call. And we even have a team of experts ready to assist with selling or closing your business. You could visit us at our website, which is visitscore.org/Minnesota, where you can request to sign up for a mentor or a webinar such as this. And right now, I would like to introduce our host, Ken Countess. Oh, I almost forgot. I have some community partners. If it wasn't for our community partners and sponsors here, we wouldn't be able to provide great webinars such as this. Sorry about that, for forgetting that. And now I will introduce Ken and we'll start being able to share your screen.
All right, very good. Thank you so much, Leola. And hello, everybody. Good afternoon. If you're on the East Coast, Eastern time zone, I see we have at least one person who's in Central in the in New Orleans area. So I guess it's still morning where you are. Good morning to you. But welcome to everybody, no matter where you're joining us from. My name is Ken Countess, and I'll be your presenter for the next 55 minutes or thereabouts. We'll see how things go, but for sure you'll be done by the top of the hour and you'll be on your way to go off and handle the things that you were going to handle sometime today. So You should be seeing my screen. It says create and send your first email campaign in 15 minutes or less. If you do see that, go ahead and raise your hand. Use the control panel down at the bottom of the screen. Looks like we got a few already raised. Cool. All right. You folks have used Zoom at least once before, haven't you? So great to have you. I'm going to lower everybody's hands because I like to have things participative, if that's a word. And so I'll be asking you to do a few things along the way. So let's talk about how you create and send an email campaign in 15 minutes or less. You probably are familiar with email marketing. You probably have checked your email at least once today. You know, email marketing today allows you to reach your customers or members wherever they are, including on their mobile phone. And just think about this for a minute. Believe it or not, 77% of Americans own smartphones, and as many as 56% of emails are opened up on a mobile device. Now, if you were to try to read an email like this on a mobile, that would be almost impossible. Instead, what I'm going to teach you is how to do an email campaign that looks great on a mobile device. We're going to be talking about using something called a reusable master template. So what I'm going to teach you actually is how to create and send your first email campaign in 15 minutes or less. Now, before you spend time creating an email campaign, it's really important that you think about what it is you really want to send. Now, I recommend sending an email at least twice a month. And there are two types of email campaigns. They are time-based and informational emails. Now, time-based emails are when you have time-sensitive information, maybe like a sale or a promotion or an event. And then there are informational emails that focus on sharing information that helps you to connect with your readers. And this is where you can provide valuable content that helps to support your products and services and keeps people in the know about what you do. By the way, I am monitoring the chat, not the Q&A. So if you're putting things in Q&A, go ahead and copy it and move it over to the chat box. There was a question in here I see about, will there be a recording? Yes, you'll get a copy of it via email. I'm also, you'll have a couple of opportunities to actually download the presentation. So keep your eyes out for that. That'll be coming soon. Here's what I'll be covering today: the 7 elements of email design. Then I'll show you how to create your own template, and then how to write emails that actually inspire action. Now, as I mentioned, you will get access to a copy of today's presentation. Here's one of the ways you could do that. You could pick up your smartphone, take a picture of this QR code and just hit it, and it'll take you to a landing page where you'll enter in your email address and your name, and that'll give you access to a downloadable copy of what you're seeing during this session. The other way to do it is to go to my website. It's kenisemail.com/July 12th. All right. If you're watching live, it's July 12th. By the way, let me also mention that at the bottom of virtually every slide you're going to see, you see my logo, my phone number. You can call or text that number, and an email address. And once again, they'll be at the bottom of just about every slide. Before we continue, a little bit about me. My name's Ken Countess. My company is kenisemail.com. I'm a certified constant contact partner, and I'm a marketing coach. I teach businesses how to do email marketing mostly. If you need help with other stuff, I can do that too. I've been at this for, I hate to say it out loud, but over 40 years. We're in our 23rd year helping businesses just like yours with marketing. In fact, I do one-on-one coaching, and I offer several packages. I've actually taught over 10,000 businesses how to do better at marketing. I've also got a podcast. It's the Everything Email Podcast. You can find it on Apple, Spotify, Google, YouTube, or wherever you like to go for your podcast. It's actually on my website as well. And for those of you who are on Alignable, you can find me there. I'm active in many groups, including, not surprisingly, the Constant Contact Community Group. I'm a platinum level SCORE presenter, and I'm also active in BNI and my local Chamber of Commerce. So as I mentioned before, you'll find my contact info at the bottom of every slide. So let me ask you, are you ready? Well, here we go. Let's talk about the 7 elements that you need to design your email. If you've been following along over the last couple of months, you've probably created a master template with the 7 elements of email design. Now, these elements ensure that your email looks like your brand and includes details that encourage your audience to take action. A master template like this really is the first step in helping you to create consistently great-looking emails in a short amount of time. And you save time because your master template is a starting point, and then you plug in the content that's specific to each email campaign. Those elements that you would change are the subject line, of course. You don't want to have the same subject line every time. The pre-header text, which is the text that follows the subject line, and then adding a supporting image. Don't want to use the same image each time. And then your message body text and a call to action. Call to action is also referred to as a CTA. And what it looks like in this particular example I'm showing is a button that's orange with white text. Now, to start out, let me talk about the elements of the header in your email campaign. You may not think the header plays an important part in design, but I include it here because it's the first thing people see in their inbox. It's your first, maybe only chance to catch your reader's attention and get them to open the email. You see, people are making quick decisions in their inbox every day. So you want to use this element to your advantage. The reality is this: when people open up their inbox, the first thing they look at is who sent me an email. So that header information, the from information, is really important. You want it to be consistent and consistently recognizable. So ideally, you want to use an email address that's from your business domain. Don't use Gmail or AOL as your business domain, by the way. And the from name will most likely be your company name and maybe your real name and then the company name. And once you've chosen the recognizable from information, stick with it. That'll help to avoid confusion for your readers. So this is an example you're seeing from Southside Cycling. And you'll see that the from name is Southside Cycling, and the email address is bikes@southsidecycling.com. This information is easily recognizable to their subscribers. Now, let's take a look at another example of why this from information is so important. Here's an email in my inbox from Susan Grant. Now, what would you do? This is audience participation time. Put your answer in the chat. What would you do if you received this email and you have no idea who Susan Grant is? Put your answer in the chat box. Yeah, Jen says delete, delete, delete. Yeah, Dre says, who the heck is Susan? Ignore it. Exactly. This is why the from information is so important. People open emails from senders they know and trust. Now, Susan Grant may be a good from choice if people know who she is. However, if subscribers are more familiar with the name of the business, you should use that instead. Now, the next field is the reply to email address. Typically, the from and the reply email address is the same. But the key here is that someone is going to receive and monitor the email address for replies. So the from and reply email addresses are 2 sections that typically will not change. So set them up in your reusable master template and you'll be good to go. That said, you'll want to change the subject line and the pre-header text with each email campaign that you send. So when you're thinking of subject lines, think small. 4 to 7 words is the ideal length for successful subject lines. And you want to provide a quick glimpse of what that email is about. And by the way, some people find it easier to write the subject line after they've finished writing the email, since they have a much better idea what the email is about after writing it. And by the way, it also allows them to pull clever phrases or words or elements of the email to craft a compelling subject line. But you should do whatever feels most natural to you. 4 to 7 words. Another way to think about it, knowing that a lot of people check email on a mobile device, is keep it to 30 characters, including spaces. The reason for the number 30 is that iPhones in particular cut off an email subject line after character number 30 or 31, depending on what type of iPhone they have. Another way to think about it is have your subject line be 5 syllables or less. So lots of ways to go about it, but keep it short and sweet. Now the pre-header text, that's where you hook them. That displays just below or after the subject line in the inbox. Your readers typically will see 5 to 8 words in this area. So use it as an extension of your subject line to further grab the reader's attention. Think of it as your last chance to hook the reader and entice them to open your email. Now, these are the elements that you need to add to your header information. Next, let me talk about the design elements of your reusable template. No matter what template you choose, you're going to want to make it look like your brand. First, you want to place your logo in the top left or center. And this will ensure that your brand is recognized right away, because it's the first thing your subscribers will see within the body of the email. People are used to clicking on images while shopping online. So make sure that you turn your logo into a clickable link that takes them directly to your website. And I can show you how to do that during the live demo. Now, you've also got to use your brand colors. How many of you, we could do a show of hands, how many of you know the hex value for the colors of your brand? Use the dashboard to raise your hand for me. We have a couple. Okay, that's good, more than I thought. If you don't already know what your brand colors are, you can use free color match tools like ColorCop or Digital Color Meter to identify the exact brand colors that are used in your logo and your website. Together, the logo and the brand colors establish a consistency throughout your email that represents your business. I'm going to lower the hands there. Lower them again. There we go. And once you've set up your template with the branding elements, you'll want to select a compelling image. Photos bring your marketing communications to life, and they grab the reader's attention. Choose an image that supports your message. And for instance, if you're having a sale on a particular product, include a clear image of the product or an image of someone using the product. And if you're promoting an event, use a picture that captures the fun that people had at the last event. In this example, Southside Cycling has included an image of the inventory that they're promoting. And just like with your logo, you want to be sure that your supporting image is clickable as well. Make sure it links to the same place as your call to action. And this image will be something that you'll change out for every email you create. When we make the master reusable template later, I'll put in a placeholder. Let me talk about the next element, and that's the headline. And Tammy's right, Canva can give you that information about colors too. Hey, because your main goal is to inspire action from your readers, you want to give special attention to your headline. The headline has to capture the reader's attention, and it should be the largest text in your email. I recommend you use a 22-point font and to use one of your brand's colors. And once you've piqued your readers' interest, the message body is where you provide detail to readers about the offer. And this is where you'll give them the information they need about the next step. Keep your text short and sweet, no longer than 20 lines of text, so you don't overwhelm your readers. If it's too long, people will go, I'll get to it later, and they don't. Use 14-point text or larger. In my emails, I use 16-point text. By the way, if you're not already on my mailing list, I'd encourage you to join the list so you can see best practice at work every week. I send out a newsletter every Tuesday afternoon at about 20 after 1 Eastern Time. As far as fonts go, too many font styles can be distracting. So use no more than 2 and make sure your formatting is consistent throughout your email. And then once you've added your text, then you need to get people to take an action. So let me talk about how to do that. When it comes to designing your email, you should never send an email without asking your audience to do something. We call this the call to action. You use a button to grab your reader's attention and make it easy to click on. Also, make your button pop with a color that matches your brand. You need to use action-oriented words on your button to engage your audience. Think of things like order online, register by August 1st, request a copy, download our guide. You see, when people click on your button, you want to be sure also that they go exactly where you want them to. If you want them to purchase a product, drive them to the exact page where they can purchase the product. You don't want to send them to your home page, because if they have to look around to find where you want them to go, they may just give up and close out and forget about your message. The image, the paragraph, and the call to action all work together to get your audience to take action. Now, let me talk about the last element of your email, and that's the footer. This is the stamp of useful information at the bottom of your email. The best part about this is that you can set it up in your reusable master template and forget it. Set it and forget it. They only need to be updated if something changes with your contact info, your address, your phone number, your web address, your hours of operation, social media buttons, okay? So there you have it. Those are the 7 elements of email design. Next, I'm going to talk about how to create your own template. Let's jump into a quick demo. So to do that, let me switch screens. And what I'm going to do is bring up my own live Constant Contact account. And this is where you always wonder or cross your fingers rather on, gee, is this thing really going to work? Thankfully, it's working. So here we go. By the way, one thing I want to mention to you, for those of you who already use Constant Contact, you can see in the middle of the page here, the AI content generator is here. And if we have a moment or two, I'll show you how it's used. But you can use the content generator to actually create those subject lines I talked about. You can have it actually write the body text of your email. If you get writer's block or you get stuck or you're like, I have no idea what to write, that content generator is really going to be handy for you. So we are literally in my live account. If you're on my mailing list, you probably got an email from me yesterday. Well, I know you did. It's a matter of whether you opened it or not. Here you can see just in the last 24 hours, we have 37% open. Not too bad. All right, so here's how we do it. It's this easy. We're going to start from scratch. We're going to create an email just like this. And the system, when it refreshes, is going to give me a few options. There are as many as 400 templates that you can choose from. And you can change any element inside those templates. but we're going to start from scratch. I mean, literally start from scratch. So I just clicked create. And here you can see a blank template. I'm going to rename this right now to demo template for SCORE Minnesota. By the way, good practice is to put in the current date, because I can almost assure you that if you go back a week later, a month later, you're not going to have any idea what that original template was. So here it is, and it's going to store just like this. So
Ken, a
here's what,
couple of the participants are wondering which site you are on, if you could mention that one more time.
yeah, okay. So let me do this a couple of ways. Number one, I'm going to put a link in the chat that'll allow you to sign up for a free Constant Contact account. We are actually in constantcontact.com/my-own-account. Thanks for bringing that up, Leola. So what you see in the chat box, that's a link. I was actually going to provide it to you later, which will allow you to sign up for a free trial of Constant Contact, which, by the way, I've been using it for 15 years. I've been their top partner for many years. I've been a partner since 2011. So here we go. We're starting out creating this new template. First thing we're going to do, I'm going to change this because, well, I'll come back to this. It creates this for you, and it's as easy to set up a template as this. We're going to go here, and we're going to just drag and drop an image. And for the sake of this presentation, I'm going to use a fictitious company called Jack's Barbecue. And I uploaded his logo just before we got started. So this is at the top of every email. Next thing we want to do is we want to bring some text over. Now, it's very common these days to just have text emails, but a lot of people prefer to have an email that has an image in it too. So I'm just dragging and dropping a content box over here on the left-hand side that says article. And these images that you see here are simply placeholders. So I will, just for the sake of this demonstration, say, try our latest recipe. And then I'm going to go here, and as simple as drag and drop, I'll take one of the images that I uploaded just before we got started. And this is Jack of Jack's Barbecue right at his grill. And that easily, we can start to create an email. As far as the contact info down at the bottom, just by clicking that box at the bottom, I can change the physical address. So I'm going to just make it Jack's Barbecue. Jack's. This is one of the things about doing things live. You get to see how badly I type. And we'll put Jack in Sarasota. And I'm going to make up a zip code because I don't remember what zip code Sarasota is. I'll just say 33432. So just that easily, if you can see down at the bottom here, I've changed this, and this is what will become the template that we'll use for every email we send. All we're doing here is creating a template, nothing more. This is something that we can change every single time. And the button that we include, this is our call to action. How about we'll change the text to say, visit our website. And we'll link it, and we'll call it www.jacksbarbecue.com. That's it. We have just created our template. By the way, I'm going to make this Jack at Jack's Barbecue. And the from address, you would change this to whatever the email address is for Jax. So once again, all we have done here is create a template that we can use again and again. And I'm going to make this once again, say Jax Barbecue. Hang on a minute here. And take a look up above where I'm typing, and what you'll see up here in the preview is that the system will give you a preview of whatever you have at the top. So now this is the email template that we can use again and again and again. So let me drop out of here, and we're going to come back and do another demonstration here in just a moment, but let me continue on. Now I see there's something in the chat here. Jean Marie says, does Constant Contact allow you to create automations from multiple emails with evergreen contact triggered by contact behavior? Jean Marie, yes, it does. In fact, about a month and a half or 2 months ago, they just updated their automation. If we have time at the end, and I think we will, I'll show you how that works. But yes, you can do triggered automation. It's incredibly powerful, and I'd encourage you to try it out. Let's see. Leola says, from participant, we have a list of potential clients to send an email campaign to. Is it okay to send it from a business email address directly like Outlook and not a CRM software? And if so, do we have to add the unsubscribe button? Is it possible to do? So that's a three-part question. Yes, you can send it from Outlook, but you won't be able to get the reporting data that you can get inside a tool like Constant Contact or a CRM. The beauty of using something like Constant Contact is this. Let me turn off the share for the moment. The beauty of using something like Constant Contact or any other email service is this. After you do a send, you can see out of that list, let's say you have 100, 300, 500, 1,000 people, you'll be able to see, number one, who received it, who opened it, who clicked on things, and that from there, you can then jump into automation if you wish and have the system do the follow-up for you. So while yes, you can use Outlook, I would recommend that you make the small investment it takes to use an email service provider, whichever one you choose to use. Let's see. If you use Outlook and not a CRM software, it will not have an unsubscribe button. You would have to manually add that or invite people to send you an email that says unsubscribe me. The beauty, again, of using an email service provider is that by law, there has to be an unsubscribe button included. And when someone clicks the unsubscribe, they're automatically removed. There's nothing you need to do in addition. Valerie asks, how do we first get an email list to send these to if we are first starting? You start with the people you know, Valerie. What we can do if you want to reach out to me afterward is I can talk to you one-on-one about how to begin growing a mailing list. Marlene says, MailChimp has a free version for micro businesses. Does Constant Contact? Constant Contact has a free trial that's good for 60 days that gives you a chance to get familiar with how the software works. After that, it is a fee-based product. It starts at $12 a month, but because you're attending a SCORE event, if you were to sign up for a new account using the link I provided, I can actually get it set up so you have a lifetime discount as a SCORE member or attendee, and that discount is good when you prepay for 6 or 12 months. Okay, great question. So let's go back and let's talk a little bit more about how we actually go about creating emails that generate sales for you. By the way, these are the images that I was showing you. I simply uploaded them to my own Constant Contact account. Once you upload them, they're there and they stay there until you decide that you want to remove them. Let's now talk about emails that can inspire action. All right, are you ready? let's do it. The first thing you want to do is be sure that every email you have has a supporting image that draws readers into your message. Letitia asks if you have an existing Constant Contact account, are you eligible for the discount? I can ask them to add that code, Letitia. If you've been using Constant Contact a while and you're attending this event, I can ask them to code your account. Reach out to me individually afterward, and I'll be happy to make that call on your behalf. So it's best that you use your own photos, but if you can't, you can always access free and paid stock photos. They're actually inside your own Constant Contact account. I'm getting a note here that some people are having trouble hearing me. So how about if I do this, move the mic a little bit closer. So you can access stuff within your Constant Contact account. Good, thank you. I appreciate the feedback. You don't want to just use any image that you find on the internet, because you could find yourself in trouble regarding copyright laws. And while there are a variety of on-stock photo sites, one of the ones you might want to check out is unsplash.com for access to free photos. All right, now, one of the things that always seems to trip people up is knowing what to say and how to say it. So let me talk for a moment about how to structure your email to encourage people to take action. And if you can answer these 3 questions for the reader, then you can write a persuasive email. First thing is, what are you offering? From a design perspective, this is your headline. And your goal with your headline is to stop the reader in their tracks. You want to pique their interest, make them want to read more, leading them to your message body. In the message body, you have to answer the question, how will it help the reader? Now, this text should pull the reader toward your call to action. Typically, you only need 3, 4, 5 sentences, but make sure you provide just enough information to give your reader the information they need to take action. And then for that call to action, you have to answer, what should they do next? Tell them specifically what it is you want them to do, and make sure that the call to action is easy to find and click within your email. And this simple formula will help you to write your email's text. Marlene asks, are we within the law if we're sending these clients to established clients who never specifically signed up for them? Yes, you're within the law. Your best practice is always to ask people to opt in. But one of the ways that people start to do email campaigns is they will send campaigns to people, and as long as they keep opening and not unsubscribing, you're good to go. It's not a requirement within the United States for people to opt in, but it is a best practice. Now, as you're designing an email campaign, it's important to keep it simple. Inspire your readers to take action. You've got to keep your emails short and sweet. So when you copy and reuse your reusable master template, all you need to do is add a picture, add a paragraph, and a call to action. That's it. Still with me? Put a yes in the chat. There we go. Letitia's first one in. Great. How about the rest of you? We still got you? Yeah, here they come. Sometimes it takes a minute for people to find the keyboard and go, okay, where do I need to do this? All right, so let's go ahead and do another demo. One of the things I want you to think about is the email I showed you earlier, where it was so incredibly difficult to read. And for someone looking at it on a smartphone or small screen, that is nearly impossible to read. I'm referring to the one on the left. The one on the right, quite a bit easier. It's laid out in a way that someone viewing it on a mobile device will actually see it be reformatted to make it easier to read. So let me refresh with you the 7 elements of email design. They are, first and foremost, the header. Make sure that you have a recognizable name and company name. The pre-header that pulls them in, gets them a little bit more insight beyond what the subject line offered. The logo and colors, make sure they're consistent. Just as, let's say, your favorite soft drink, let's say Pepsi or Coca-Cola, the colors are always the same. You need to do the same thing with your email, with your logo, the colors that you use. Make sure your image is crisp and clear and that you're not violating copyright laws. The message body, short and sweet. Keep it as no more than 20 lines of text. I would recommend you keep it to 10 or less. That call to action is really important. That's the thing that is going to help you understand that people actually did read your email. Opens are nice to know, but opens don't tell the whole story, because particularly for people who use Apple devices, about 1.5 years ago, Apple introduced something called MPP. And what MPP basically does is it will show that your email has been opened on an Apple device, even though it may or may not have been. When you have somebody click on content in your email, that's what tells you for sure that someone actually read your email, because they clicked on something. And then, of course, the footer. So let me do a quick recap, and then I'll do a quick demonstration once again. And we do have time for me to show you the artificial intelligence that's now part of Constant Contact. We've got those 7 elements of email design that we talked about: the header, the pre-header, the image, the logo, and all of that. Number 2, to keep it simple. And number 3, to be able to create that email in 15 minutes or less, create a reusable template. And you may or may not have noticed that that template I created for you, we had that done in 5 minutes. So let me go back and share my Constant Contact screen again, and let's go ahead and create another email. So here we go. And I know you can hear me well this time. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. If you were not able to hear well before, I apologize. But it looked like we had quite a few people that were doing okay. So here we go. We're going to create a brand new email. So I click the blue create button. Then I create an email by just clicking the email button. Now, remember that we've already created a template, but just to show you how it's done once again, by the way, there are templates they've already created. Remember, I mentioned there are over 400. These are basic templates that you can use without having to start from scratch the way I did here. So this time around, let's take this particular template. I clicked the select button. And here you can see we've already placed in my logo, but let me change it out. And just for consistency, let me go back in, and we'll take Jack's Barbecue logo and click insert. And that easily we've changed the logo. We can make that copy be something as simple as check out our new barbecue rib recipe. And we can change out the images here. So maybe what I'll do here is I'll just drag and drop. We'll take this in, we'll take that out. We'll put in an image of these delectable barbecue ribs right here. And we'll insert, and we'll just take this box out, right? And this easily, we can create an email that's engaging and gets the kind of results we're looking for. And here, if you wish, you can put in your contact info down at the bottom. It's always a good idea to have the contact info easily readable. Have FAQs on your website. We would just simply take this block and link it to a page on the website. And if you have a privacy policy, you could do that too. I know many people are using social media, as you should. So you can have people follow you on social, or you can actually add in your own social buttons and tie them right to your social media page. Once you're done, check this out. Constant Contact has artificial intelligence built in so that you can actually not only preview and test an email, you can actually also have it check for errors. So what it's doing here is it's doing a quick scan and telling me, okay, all my links and buttons are working well. There's something going on with my pre-header, and it's that I have too many special characters in here. You see, Constant Contact is going to help you know whether your email is more likely to show up in the inbox or in a spam folder. So it says, you got a pre-header, this is good. The length of your pre-header is great. You got a couple of special characters in there, so maybe you want to take those out. Those special characters, by the way, are the apostrophe and the period. So if I remove those and then I go back and have it check for errors, here you can see the pre-header is now all clear. Pretty amazing stuff, right? So once we're ready to go, we just hit the continue button and we can schedule our email to go out right now or schedule it for up to a year in advance. We can send ourselves a test email to make sure that everything is working correctly. Another great feature of Constant Contact is this. Let's say for now, we're just going to schedule this to go out a year from now in July. So I'm going to hit the schedule button. And let me just select one of the lists. You see, everything is pretty foolproof. It's very, very simple to use. So we've now got something that's scheduled to go out on July 2nd, 2024 at 1:40 p.m. Another thing that you could do is create a social campaign based on what you've done with your email campaign. So Constant Contact allows you to create emails, social posts, or ads, and you can create as many as you want up to a year in advance. It's a pretty amazing tool. So for instance, for those of you who are posting on, let's say, I'll use the example of LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, you could do all of that from right inside your Constant Contact account. A lot of people don't even know that that feature exists. Let me show you one more thing, and then we'll go to Q&A. There is something in Constant Contact that's based on ChatGPT. I know you've heard of ChatGPT. Everybody has. One of the things they just added to Constant Contact back in April is an AI content generator. I see there are questions coming up. I will get to them. Let's say we have an announcement. Let's ask, I'm going to ask you in the chat, give me a sense. Let's do an announcement of some restaurant thing. Just go ahead and let me know if you were announcing a new product or service, what might that be? Just give me a sentence or two, or even just a few keywords. We're going to create an email on the fly using ChatGPT AI that's built into Constant Contact. Dre says ice cream day celebration. All right, so let me copy that. All right, and what do we want people to know about that ice cream day celebration? When's it going to be? Let's say that it is Tuesday, July, whatever next Tuesday is, must be the 18th. And it's at our store. How's that? Let's ask Constant Contact to generate that email for us. And check this out. Look at this within seconds. We're excited to announce that we'll be hosting an ice cream day celebration at our store on Tuesday, July 18th. It's the perfect opportunity to indulge in your favorite frozen treats and beat the summer heat. And you could read on from there, but check this out. I only put in 10 words. And if we don't like this, we got option 2. If we don't like option 2, we can have it show even more options. And it does it all within seconds. Yeah, it is pretty neat, isn't it? Check that out. So that's just another feature of Constant Contact. So let's continue with a wrap up, and then we'll go to Q&A. What I'd like you to remember is that Constant Contact and all email marketing ROI is 36 to 1. This is something that's measured every year. There's research behind this. 36 to 1, which makes it way better, way more powerful than any other marketing tool you could possibly be using. In fact, if you're not generating at least half your sales from an email marketing campaign, we need to talk. Let me show you a case study. This is a client of mine who came to one of my events at the Daytona International Airport. And at the time that we met, her name, by the way, is Patty. Her annual sales were $50,000 a year. She was only using Google AdWords. And I remember asking her, I was like, well, how's that working for you? And she said, you know, it's like flushing money down the toilet. Well, in May of that year, she started using email marketing with my coaching, and within 6 months generated an additional $250,000 in sales. She stopped using AdWords at that time. In the next year, her sales went to $750,000. So for this client of ours, her ROI isn't 36 to 1, it's 150 to 1. The bottom line is this: at a 36 to 1 average ROI, email marketing is undeniably the best tool you can possibly use to grow your business. So if you're ready to take your business to the next level, I mean, if you're really ready, then take action. Start using email marketing. It starts, as I mentioned earlier, when somebody asked, it starts at just $12 a month. So if you'd like to try Constant Contact free, this is a 60-day trial, free. No credit card's going to be asked of you to set up the trial. So you can scan that image or go to the URL that you see. I actually had it in the chat a little bit earlier today, and I'll go ahead and copy and paste that back in. Now, I will tell you this. When you sign up for the free trial, you'll get a call from Constant Contact. It's intended to be an onboarding call. They may say, you know, you really ought to pay for your account, and there's no reason why you can't just try it out for 60 days, and tell them that. Say, I'm trying it out. I want to learn how it works. And then when I'm ready, I'll go ahead and pay for it. But I will invite you to give me a call if you sign up, and let me walk you through the platform. I don't charge for this. There's no sales pitch. I just encourage you to learn how email marketing works. Okay, we have a couple of questions here. One is, how can we use email campaigns for industries that are service-only businesses? I'm a notary and I find it hard to market when I'm not selling a product. Here's how you do that. And I'm a service business too, right? I don't have a hard product that I sell. The way you do it, whether you're a notary, a landscaper, whatever kind of a service you're in, you provide education. If you continually build relationships with people who are on your list, at some point, they will get to the point where they say, you know, I need somebody who does what you do. And that's when the sales process really begins. If what you try to do is sell, 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 you're going to wind up with people unsubscribing. So use email marketing to build relationships. It's like when you meet somebody for the first time on a date, you don't say, will you marry me? On your first date, you build a relationship, and that's how you use email marketing the most effectively. That's how you get that 36 to 1, or in the case of our client, 150 to 1 return. Diane asks, I may have missed a lot, so I may be asking a redundant question. Can I hire you to coach me? Diane, yes, of course you can. My contact info is at the bottom of every slide. You can call or email or go to our website. If you go to kenisemail.com/packages, and that's on the menu bar at the top of the page, you'll be able to learn how we can work together. Marlene asks, a large portion of our clients are Spanish speaking only, but our client list does not distinguish which ones. Do you suggest creating 2 different emails, one in each language, or one bilingual email message? That's a really great question, Marlene. Here's my answer. You can create an email that actually allows someone to click whether they'd like to read it in English or Spanish and have 2 different versions of the email. Or you can have a poll in your email which says, which language would you prefer that we communicate with you on? Or you can send an email out that's in both languages, en inglés and en español. And remember that the emails themselves should be short. So you might have a paragraph or 2 on inglés and the other paragraph in español, and have the call to action buttons in the respective languages, and then have those buttons take them to the right document or PDF or right place on your website. That's one way you can go about it. If you'd like more information, let's have a conversation. Someone says, how do you make a subject line that won't go to spam? Well, the answer is, think about the emails that you see in your spam box and see how they are showing up. If you're using too many exclamation points, or too many symbols, or too many emojis, or you're using all caps, those are the kinds of things that will get you into the spam box immediately. If you'd like more help, reach out to me. I'm happy to give you a hand. Marlene, you're welcome. We've got a few more minutes. Let me make sure I've gotten all the questions that are in here answered. I hope you have found this very helpful. I do webinars for various SCORE chapters pretty frequently. And if you're on Alignable, I do workshops, 30-minute workshops on Alignable every Friday at noon Eastern. Go to the Constant Contact community group, and that's where you'll find where my next one is. And that one is Unlocking the Power of Social Media. I'd encourage you to set up a free call with me. If you use this QR code or go to kenisemail.com/call, you'll be presented with this landing page that you see on the left, and then just go ahead and set up a call. It'll take you to a scheduling page, and let's have a conversation. I promise that I do not do sales pitches. People wonder, how in the world are you in business for 23 years and not do sales pitches? The reason is that people don't want to be pitched all the time. If we have a conversation and you decide that it's right for us to work together, that'll be your decision. And I'm very happy to have a conversation with anyone who would like. Let's see. I'm seeing a bunch of thank yous. You're very welcome. Let's see. How do I buy a mailing list? Valerie, there are several list brokers. We don't recommend any specific one when we do these events, but if you'd like to give me a call, I'll give you the names of a couple of companies I know of. But buying a list is not a best practice because you don't know what the quality of the list is that you're purchasing. Let's see, is there a free app that allows you to type text over an image? Yeah, there are several of them. There's actually one built into Constant Contact. That's Canva, where you can take an image in Canva and overlay text and then save that to your library. Tiana says, thank you. Marlene says, are there any amount of emojis appropriate for a serious business? Yeah, there are quite a few. You might want to check Emojipedia. Emoji, Emojipedia. That's a place where you'll be able to find some emojis. Tammy's asking, does Constant Contact work with GMass or Mail Meteor? I am not familiar with those names, but if you want to give me a buzz, we can go through it together and I'll be happy to give you an answer that will make sense for you. Do I recommend font over images? Yes, but limit it. People do like to see those emojis and memes, is what we used to call them a few years ago. They work well, but do them sparingly. Debbie says, thank you. Great tips and info. You're welcome. By the way, if you're already using Constant Contact and you want to learn more about how to use AI in a Constant Contact account, you can log in to your Constant Contact account and they will tell you what the differences are between your package and the ones that are currently being offered. Questions about recording? Yes, you'll get a recording. Everybody will receive the slides and the presentation. And Leola, I think I've got all the questions answered, so I'm going to
Yes.
turn it back to you.
You did great.
Thank you.
Let's see. But then I think I have to screen share again. Oh, am I? Can you see mine? My
You're
visit
doing
score?
it. Yeah, you're there.
Okay, great.
You're a master at this.
I'm not so sure about that. But once again, thank you everyone for participating today. And you can visit our website at visitscore.org/Minnesota, where you can request a mentor or sign up for another great webinar such as this one today with Ken. We'd like to thank all of our attendees today for learning more about how to make your email campaign a success. And you will be receiving a short survey that will ask you, how can we improve, or what other topics are you interested in that you would like to see a webinar about? There's my question screen, which Ken already did a great, fantastic job on answering all of those. So unless there's anything else, I would just like to thank you again for attending and have a fantastic day. And thank you, Ken. That was great. I took a bunch of notes.
Great. Thanks, everybody. Look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.